studying his mind and his thoughts has been my MBA. We run 4 businesses back in India. Every single team meeting that I have with my team, I'm trying to channelize Sir Alex Ferguson. I'm trying to channelize Rio Ferdinand, Vidic, trying to give the most to my team and be intense, keep that fire alive. And you know how they say that when you're a boy and you watch football for the first time, you're drawn to a football club and you don't know why you're drawn to that football club, but you just choose it. At least for the Manchester United fans back home in India, I've always noticed that the Manchester United fans are the guys who are intense. And that's what we were drawn to as kids. I think that people know a lot about Sir Alex's mind, but this thing you said about keeping that competitive energy alive within the locker room, I think on some level, he obviously would have noticed it because his key lesson in leadership is observe. That's the first lesson he writes about. He says that he was the best observer in any room. That's what let him be Sir Alex Ferguson. So I'm sure he knew these things and he was egging you guys on. He probably encouraged it in some ways.
But also, it's about recruitment. He's recruiting guys he knows can add to the culture like that, and it would embed themselves in that culture. Like recruitment is a huge thing. You have to understand people before they sign. Like I met him before I signed, but that meeting could have gone one way or the other, depending on the way that we interacted. So he's probably a good reader of people as well, understanding what culture he has and what ingredient they can bring. But I think one of his best traits, I think, yeah, great observing, obviously, but one of his best traits is that delegation and allowing other people to lead in certain areas. Like in our change room, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but in our changing room at the training ground, we're there more than anywhere else. We're training every day at the training ground. How many times do you think Sir Alex Ferguson came into that changing room?
Apparently, never.
He's probably, I couldn't feel one hand. One of the times was to say he was leaving. One of the times when we was naughty as a team. But he allowed us leaders in there to govern the change room, to manage punctuality, manage standards. Do you know what I mean? Manage that culture. And he allowed other people in other areas like SNC, sports, the conditioning area, the logistics person, the guy who's going to help with the physios, the doctor. Those guys ran their own areas and they report into him because he can't do everything. There's too much to do as a manager. There's enough just to do with the players. So he was great at that. And I think that, as I said, that allowed him to be who he was and use his strengths with the squad.
You know, they say that the greatness of a boss is showcased by how the organization runs when the boss is not around.